What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Cannonballs podcast. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Dane Cannon. Co-hosting with me today is
your boy. You know the rest.
a very irritable Jake Bowles on the mic 1-2. And guys, we're just going to be up front. The game was awesome, but it's throwing our entire schedule for a loop. Jake and I both work full-time jobs, doing these recordings 3 separate days in a row just so we have enough time to get them out for you guys. It's brutal. So without wasting any further time, we're going to be doing our power rankings today. It's going to be based off of what happened in week 10. If you guys aren't already, like, comment, subscribe. Anything helps. Watch the video for 5 minutes. Share us, comment, talk shit, whatever you guys want. If you guys aren't already, follow us on our Instagram at Cannonballs with a Z _podcast. Jake, do you have anything to add before we get started?
Do I look super choppy?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I can't. It's fucking stupid. This is so stupid. Fuck this shit. All right, let's just fucking get into it. Fuck you, YouTube. I don't give a fuck about your stupid fucking bitch-ass cussing rules. All right, number 32. Dropping 2 spots. I got the Texans.
I got Houston here as well. I got Houston here at 32 as well. I have them staying put. I had them at 32 last week. At 31, I have in the Las Vegas Raiders dropping 6 spots.
Yeah, 31, I got the Panthers. I still think the Raiders have more weapons than the Panthers. They have good pieces. They just can't. What's the word? They
put it together.
Yeah, they can't put it together. They can't execute. So, but I mean, speaking of the Raiders, that's who I have at 30. If you can even see me, I am stuck right now. But the Panthers I had staying at the same spot, and the Raiders I had dropping 2 spots to 30. Yeah, man, the Raiders suck. They've won 2 games?
The Raiders have won 2 games. They just lost another game. Head coaching position, questionable as of right now. We'll see if the Raiders can turn it around. But at 30 for me, this is where I have New Orleans. I have New Orleans staying put. They have a good defense, but they have offensive pieces. They just have questions at the quarterback position, and they just can't put wins together. So I have New Orleans at 30. At 29, this is where I have Carolina. I have Carolina moving up 2 spots. They had an impressive win on Thursday night against Atlanta. It is Atlanta. Atlanta's a scrappy team. They can pull off some upsets. They were in first place in the NFC South, but Carolina, no team's an easy win unless it's the Raiders this year, apparently. So I got Carolina here at 29.
Yeah, at 29, dropping 8 spots. I got the Saints. They suck too. I mean, they have a good defense at times, but they have weapons on offense. They just, like the Raiders, can't execute. Alvin Kamara has been invisible at times, or is that the right wording? I don't know. He's been not there on the field when he's been on the field at times. I don't know what the hell happened to him. I think it's just the new head coach. And then the defense just, they lost to the freaking Steelers. So not much to hang your hat on if you're a Saints fan. I mean, they have a good defensive line. They have some good defensive players. I think until they figure out that quarterback situation, because at this point I'm putting Jameson if I'm the head coach.
I would put Jameson as well. Yeah,
I'm not rolling with Andy Dalton. He looked fine when they first, made the switch. Excuse me, but he showed why Andy Dalton has been a journeyman these last couple years. For 28, dropping 4 spots, I got the Broncos. Yeah, man, Broncos are just as disappointing as the Raiders. They played a decent team in the Titans, but I mean, this really is just they're not a good team. I mean, I don't think the Titans are anything super special. I mean, they're a decent team. They're probably going to make playoffs. But the Broncos, just letdowns, I think. And that's just kind of it's letting me hate on them a little bit more. So, yeah. I got the Broncos at 28.
Yeah, I mean, Tennessee is beat up. They've been having quarterback issues with health over the last couple of weeks with Ryan Tannehill. Malik Willis has had to step in. Yeah. At 28, this is where I have Chicago. I have them dropping 4 spots. Disappointing loss to Detroit. Their offense still looks good, but their defense is just allowing everyone to score on them. So I have Chicago at 28. At 27, that's where I have Denver. So I have them just 1 spot above you. Funny because I think it was not too long ago when you had me labeled so biased because of where I had Denver placed. But yeah, I have.
That was when this is like halfway through the season, and this is earlier in the season. You had them at like 29, and they still have a good defense. They still have the number 1 defense. They have the number 1 defense, I'm pretty sure, and it's just that offense. It looks terrible. They can't do anything on offense. They got an injury to Jerry Jeudy, so that's going to hurt them even more. Yeah, man. I guess Russell Wilson wasn't the answer.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Nathaniel Hackett's a new head coach, so maybe it takes a little bit for the offensive scheme to get rolling. But yeah, Denver is struggling. Did you already give your 27, Jake?
No. At 27. At 27, I got the Cleveland Browns dropping 5 spots. Yeah, I mean, at times they can beat decent teams. They look good on the ground, but still they're held back by Jacoby Brissett, even though he didn't do like too terribly this last game, I would say. I mean, he had the yardage, gave it to Dominus Peoples-Jones, but I mean, like we said at the beginning of the season, this team will go as far as Jacoby Brissett will take them. They have a decent defense, but, I think they have 3 wins. And even though Deshaun Watson's about to come back, I think their season is all but over.
Yep.
Really quick, I just want to mention, I wasn't as harsh on Cleveland, especially this last week, because Miami's one of my top teams as of right now. And I just saw something about the architecture for the Dolphin Stadium, how the opposing away team side is typically 30 degrees hotter. So this last weekend when they played Miami, Miami's sideline was 82 degrees. Cleveland's was 102. So, I mean,
I saw that too.
It's pretty brutal.
I saw that too. But yeah, the Browns still look like poo-poo at times.
Yeah, Browns haven't been doing well. Who do you got at 26, Jake?
At 26, I got moving up 3 spots. I got the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Moving up 3 spots exactly as well, and I have them at 26.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they're winning some of these games. Like, it's just they got TJ Watt back. They have when they have TJ Watt on that defense, it's a completely different team.
For sure, 100%.
They have some offensive weapons. What's that other running back? Jalen Warren, I believe his name is.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So Jalen Warren, and then Najee Harris had actually a decent game. And I'm not gonna say anything about Kenny Pickett. He's a rookie. He looks like a rookie out there. Maybe give it a couple years. Maybe because he has weapons. Deontay Johnson, George Pickens. What's out there. It was a good win for them. So good job, Steelers.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I have them moving up three spots. Impressive win. At 25, this is where I have Detroit. I have Detroit moving up 3 spots as well. It was a close nail biter of a game. They beat Chicago, who's kind of turned into an offensive powerhouse in a way. I mean, they've scored over 25 points, I think, the last 4 to 5 weeks. Like, they've really turned their offensive scheme around. They've kind of tailored it to Justin Fields' strengths, and it looks completely different. But Chicago still isn't a good team. They've only got 3 wins. Detroit now has 3 wins. Detroit at 25.
Yeah, at 25, I got moving up 7 spots, and this was strictly based on the this moving up this much was strictly based on the quarterback change. I have the Indianapolis Colts at 25. I had them at 32 because they were playing like the 32 ranked team. They look god awful with Sam Ellinger. And then Jonathan Taylor. Maybe this is the beginning of a hot streak for him because he looked good, and they beat the Raiders. I mean, again, the Raiders have looked so bad this year. at times. So we don't know if we can really hang. If you're a Colts fan, you don't know if you can hang your hat on this win too much. I mean, still a win's a win, but yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say anything like, "Oh, Jeff Saturday, he's the truth." I mean, I think he just played. I think he made the smart move, trying to win the game and putting in the better quarterback, and they beat a lesser team in the Raiders. So yeah, I got the Colts moving up 7 spots at 25.
Okay.
At 24, I have moving up 3 spots. I got the Lions. Yeah, it was a good win for them. At times, they look good on their offense. They actually played pretty good. They had some good defensive plays against Justin Fields. Even though they let up 30 points. So that's definitely still the weakness of this team. Give it a couple years. I think the Lions could be one of those sneaky teams that could get into playoffs. I mean, Jared Goff, maybe get him Jared Goff a couple more weapons. Maybe if DeAndre Swift can stay healthy, because DeAndre Swift is not even on the field at times. But they need to improve that defense a lot. So yeah, I got the Lions at 24.
Yeah, I really like what I'm seeing from Aiden Hutchinson, though. I think that pick was a home run pick. At 24, I have a team dropping 7 spots, and I did not think that they would even be down here. I have the Los Angeles Rams at 24. They are just struggling. And now that Cooper Kupp is gone as well, this team is just going to struggle even more offensively. I mean, Matthew Stafford was injured. We'll see if he can have a bounce back performance. We'll see. He's going to be tested now because he's not going to have his number 1 wide receiver in Cooper Kupp. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, they just haven't put together a win. So I have them at 24. You did 24 just now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. At 23, I have Green Bay. I have Green Bay moving up 4 spots. An impressive win. They beat one of the best defenses in the NFL in Dallas. I don't know if home field advantage kind of played a factor in this, but I mean, even at home, they had been losing to bad ball clubs. So, Christian Watson finally got going. Maybe that helps Aaron Rodgers in the passing game for the future. I don't know if Christian Watson's going to stay healthy, but, it was a good bounce back performance. Aaron Jones looked good. The offense looked better. Aaron Rodgers finally got his receiver going. So, good win for Green Bay. I have them moving up 4 spots.
I'm just looking at my rankings, and I completely missed Green Bay. Wow. All right.
Did you put a team twice?
Let me know, because I can't I can't find it. Oh man, this will be fun. Well, I'm gonna do my 23 because you just said them. I got the Rams dropping 6 spots. I mean, they did play without, their starting quarterback, but even before then, they looked terrible. Now with the loss of Cooper Kupp, who's arguably one of the best offensive players in the NFL, I have no idea what this team is going to do. I mean, they have players like Allen Robinson. He could step up. Tyler Higbee, he could probably step up. Ben Skoranek and what's his name? Brandon Powell. They've shown some promise. And McVay's a good coach, and they still have a lot of defensive players on that team. It's still decent defense. They just look bad, man. And just like I said, just with the loss of Cooper Kupp, like this team is just going to get worse, I think. So, yeah, I got the Rams at 23.
Perfect. Who do you got at 22?
At 22, man. All right. I got the Falcons dropping 2 spots.
I have the Falcons at 22 as well.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, they looked terrible against the Panthers, but it was a division rivalry game. I think they've looked better than expected this year overall. I think they just had a really bad game against Carolina. I think Marcus Mariota had a really bad game. I think that entire team had a really bad game. I think they'll be fine going forward. I mean, if they can continue what they did in the beginning of the season, they were in first place for a reason. So, I mean, terrible division, and, they look good at times. So, yeah, I got the Falcons at 22.
All right. I have them right there with you. And basically for all the reasons you said, overall, I think they've looked good. I think the last couple weeks, the last Panthers game and then the Chargers game, they haven't looked too hot. But
maybe they can get a bounce back and kind of get going again to be competitive in that division. At 21, this is where I have Cleveland. I didn't drop them too much, basically, for what I said earlier. I have them dropping just one spot, especially because Miami is one of my top teams in the NFL this year. I mean, Miami just looks amazing, dude. With the addition of Tyreek Hill, that combination with him and Jalen Waddle is just unreal. And, Jeff Wilson is balling the F out for them. And I don't know, man. Miami has a good defense. It's given up big plays. It's given up a lot of yards in certain matchups. But, I think this team overall is a complete roster. So watch out for Miami. I think that they're headed to the playoffs this year. So I have them who beat Cleveland, who I'm talking about actually, but I just started talking about Miami. But yeah, Cleveland, good running attack. Jacoby Brissett's what's going to hold them back. But yeah, I have them at 21.
Very nice.
So you got it 21, Jake.
Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out who I got. I figured out what number I missed, but I'll get to that when So now my rankings are all messed up, but it's all good. Been a long week. Hopefully we get back on schedule next week. But so I think I'm just gonna put this team here instead. So at 21, I got the Green Bay Packers moving up 2 spots. Really good win. Really, really good win for them. I still think they've looked very bad the rest of the season. So, one good win isn't going to erase that for me. If they could put together a win streak, then they'll definitely climb. But it was a really good win against a really good defense. So, yeah, I got the Packers at 21.
Perfect. Who do you got at 20, Jake?
At 20, I got the Bears dropping a couple spots. Yeah, I mean, they probably should have beat the Lions. But again, their defense has not looked great. But the emergence of Justin Fields, man, it gives that team hope. Let's be honest. Everybody was ready to write Justin Fields off. He looked just downright bad. That offense looked downright awful. Collectively. He would make a play here and there, but nothing that would be like, oh my, yeah, this guy's got some talent. And it showed he had talent in college, but college is a lot different than the NFL. But now that they figured out how to use him correctly, imagine play to his strengths. Get him on a boot, get him running. So they look a lot better. But I still got him dropping to number 20.
Yep. All right. At 20, this is where I have Indianapolis. I have them moving up 3 spots. I think it's kind of impressive to have a coach who's never coached in the NFL just come off his couch and just beat the Raiders. I just love to see it since I'm a huge hater of the Raiders because I'm a huge Chargers fan. So it was awesome to see, Jeff Saturday put Matt Ryan back in. I liked it. I love to see Jonathan Taylor get going. The defense has been pretty decent the entire year. We'll see.
Where did you put the Colts?
20.
Jeez Louise,
dude. They have more wins than the Bears, and you have the Bears at 20.
Yeah, but they look fucking awful at times.
Hey, the NFL isn't always pretty. The NFL isn't always pretty.
Consistently awful. I mean, like I said, they made the right choice by putting Matt Ryan back in, but they look consistently awful.
Well, at least their defense can consistently keep them competitive, unlike the Bears. The Bears have to score at least 25 points to win. When you're giving up over 24 points a game, that's not going to help you. But tomato, we could bicker about this, but we don't have time, ladies and gentlemen. We got stuff to do. So, yeah, I have Indianapolis at 20. Is it my turn to do 19? Because you already did 20, right?
Yeah, I already did 20.
All right, 19. This is where I have Jacksonville. I have Jacksonville staying put. Couldn't really move them. Just wanted to keep them here. Yeah, that's it. Got them at 19. Still competitive to be in ball games, but I don't know. They played the Chiefs. What can you say? Like, the Chiefs are one of the best teams in the NFL. I figured that they still put up points. They still tried to make it competitive throughout the game at certain points. So I just felt like teams lost worse and didn't play as good that won. So I moved them Didn't move them at all, but I moved teams around them. So got them staying put at 19.
At 19, I got the Cardinals moving up, 4 or 5 spots. I am all confused now. But I'm not going to take a whole lot from their win. It was a backup versus backup kind of deal. And Kyler Murray and their backup, Colt McCoy, are day-to-day. Who knows if they play on Monday. But I don't really have much to say about the Cardinals. It was a weird game. I would have loved for Kyler Murray to be the starter and then win. It would have done a lot more for me. But yeah, I mean, I'll move them up. They beat a division rival. They still have playoff hopes. So yep, I got the Cardinals at 19. At 18, I got the Jags. I'm pretty sure I had them there last week. I had them moving up 1 spot for some reason because my rankings are all effed up now. Sorry, guys. But you know what? I would have kept them.
It's been a long week.
Yes. I originally would have kept them at 18. Whatever, dude. They played a good team. They played decently against a good team. And they've showed some promise, throughout the season. I still don't think they're a playoff team. Maybe they could. They'd have to go on a hell of a streak. But they look a lot better. They look improved. Trevor Lawrence looks good. ETN looks good. Dude, freaking, what the hell's that tight end's name? Evan Ingram looks good, and he hasn't done anything in his entire career. But good for the Jags.
All right, at 18, this is where I have Washington. I have Washington moving up 8 spots in my power rankings. They look better with Taylor Heineke. I don't know what to say. Like, the team wants to play harder for him. I like what they did. They beat the only undefeated team in the NFL at this point. So, that was a good win for them. Their defense has been looking light years better than it did last year. Like, it's looking back to 2 years ago in 2020. I don't know what happened last year, but it looks much improved. And their offense looks better. I mean, Terry McLaurin's going to go, and Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson, Curtis Samuel. Everything looks better about this team. So they're a competitive 500 team right now. So watch out for Washington. This could be a division where all 4 teams make it in the NFC East. Who would have thought? But yeah, Washington at 18. At 17, this is where I have the Chargers. I have them dropping 2 spots. They just can't catch a break with injuries. They lost 2 more starters for the rest of the year, unfortunately, and it was on the defensive line, which was already terrible. So we'll see where it goes from here. At least they were competitive in the matchup against San Francisco. They had the lead going into halftime, and then they just blew a typical Chargers thing to do. But I couldn't move them too much because at least they played a competitive game against a really good team. So Chargers at 17.
Yeah, so at 17, I got the Commanders right there on the cusp of playoffs, along with my next team, which is the Chargers. But I'll talk about the Commanders first. The Commanders, they've been playing good with Taylor Heineke, and I hope Ron Rivera's already said that Taylor Heineke is going to start next week, and Carson Wentz's coming back. So good for him. He made the right decision. When you have quarterbacks at that level, you just roll with the hot hand. It's kind of like the New Orleans situation. Andy Dalton is not winning you games. Just try Jameis. Like, you got to try anything that's best for your team, unless you're just trying to tank. Like you said, the Commanders, the defense looks good. Light years better. And they have weapons. Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel. Curtis Samuel looks good, man.
And they utilize him like Debo as a running back, wide receiver hybrid type player.
Yep. So I like what the Commanders are doing. Unfortunately, they're right there on that 7th seed. So that Christmas Eve game against the 49ers is going to be that much more important. So now for my 16 ranked team, I got the Chargers. Like you said, they were right there with the 49ers. They were beating them. It's just, honestly, for me, it's just the injuries. They're injured. They have 0 defense. I mean, they played really good defense with no defensive players that you would know of. I mean, I think Derwin James is like the only, superstar left on that team that, that is known league wide. But, Justin Herbert.
Him and Khalil.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Khalil.
Mack that.
Yeah, I forgot about Khalil Herbert or Khalil Mack. But yeah, the Chargers, they're just injured. I think they're currently out of the playoff picture. The Patriots
I believe so.
Yeah, so they're still right in there. It's just not looking good for them. It's just injuries suck. So yeah, I got the Chargers at 16.
At 16, this is where I have Arizona. I have them moving up 2 spots. They won a divisional matchup. Backup quarterback play looked good. I mean, the offense got going against a Rams defense that still has players out there. So, good for them. We'll see where they can go from here. If Kyler's going to be playing, I don't know about his hamstring, so something to keep an eye on. But yeah, I have Arizona at 16. At 15, this was where I have New England. I just have them moving down 1 spot, just mostly because they didn't play. So other teams had to move up, so I have them at 15.
Yep. I also have the Patriots at 15. On a bye, but they have a good defense. So we'll see how they play against the Jets. At 14, moving down 2 spots, I have the Seattle Seahawks. They probably didn't play their best game against the Bucks, and the Bucks aren't special this year. They're still, I think,
Tom Brady undefeated since he got divorced.
Yeah, maybe that's all he needed. Women tying him down. But no, the Seahawks are still a good team. I think they just played not a good game.
Plus,
so, yeah.
It was in Germany, so there's other factors that could have played a role.
Yeah.
At 14, that's where I have Cincinnati. I have Cincinnati just dropping 1 spot. Again, they were on bye. I just had to move other teams more, so that's why I have them there. At 13, this is where I have Tampa Bay. I have Tampa Bay moving up 3 spots.
I also have Tampa Bay at 13.
Yeah, they're a 500 team now. They're 5-5. Who knows? Maybe they can finally get the ball rolling. I mean, Tom Brady does look better. The offense does look a little bit better. I mean, they're still not scoring a ridiculous amount of points, but their defense was what's keeping them in games. And now that they're finally scoring more than 20 points, even if it's barely, at least they're getting up there. They're finally utilizing their players a little bit more. So I got Tampa Bay at 13.
Right on. At 12, I got the Jets staying put. I think they were on bye.
I have the Jets at 12 as well.
They were on bye last week, weren't they?
Yes.
Yeah, so, not much to say, but they're coming off that big win against Buffalo. They got another big divisional game against the Patriots. If they can beat the Patriots, man, the Jets are going to be looking pretty good. But I got at 11, I got the Titans moving up 5 spots. They got Ryan Tannehill back there. I mean, no offense to Malik Willis, but I'm going to take a veteran who's decent over a rookie who has potential any day of the week. And Ryan Tannehill looked good against the Broncos. They kind of actually had to put it in his hands because they were stopping Derrick Henry. So I think if they can get Treylon Burks going, I think they still have Robert Woods, Nakeem. What's the other wide receiver that scored that long touchdown? Westbrook Akine or whatever.
Something like that. I'm not too familiar.
Maybe they can start stepping up, but I think the biggest thing is the emergence of that defense and just coaching. They're just coached really well. So yeah, I got the Titans at 11.
At 11, this is where I have Seattle. I have Seattle dropping 4 spots. It's a tough loss. They should have probably beaten Tampa Bay, but who knows? Maybe the trip to Germany, they just didn't travel well. Every team has a bad game, and they were red hot. They had won like 4 in a row, so can't really put it past them. Or they had won 3 in a row, however many it was. But they were red hot. Every team has a bad hiccup every once in a while, but I still think Seattle's going to be fine. But I have them dropping 4 spots at 11. At 10, this is where I have Tennessee. I have them just 1 spot above you. Impressive win. Ryan Tannehill put the team on his back when the biggest offensive piece of that scheme, Derrick Henry, wasn't able to get going. So good for the Tennessee Titans. Their defense just looks really good, even though they're dealing with injuries. So Tennessee at 10.
At 10, I got the Bengals staying put, coming off a bye. I believe in the Bengals. They have just a lot of weapons. And I like Joe Burrow a lot. So not much to say there. But at 9, I have the Cowboys dropping 2 spots.
I have Dallas at 9 as well, dropping 4 spots.
Oh, cool. So, yeah, I mean, the Cowboys, they should have beat the Packers. I mean, the way the Packers are playing, I think they're still a good team. They still put up, 30 points, I think it was. What did that score end up being? Do you remember?
God.
I'd have to look it up.
I'll look it up for you really quick.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, it's not like the offense was inexistent. Was it inexistent? Inexistent? One of those two. And then the defense. I think the defense just
points. It was 28-31.
So 28 points is more than, half the league, I would say. But the defense is still good. I think they had an off game against, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. So I still think they're a playoff team. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Dallas at 9. At number 8, this is where I have San Francisco. I have San Francisco moving up one spot. I would have liked to have moved them up more. I just would have liked to have seen it be a little bit more of a dominant win. I mean, not personally see it be more of a dominant win, but if I'm like trying to move you up more, I would like them to kind of more manhandle the Chargers overall. I think they manhandled them in the second half. They kept them from scoring a single point in the second half, which was what I kind of expected. Maybe it seemed like they kind of had a couple blown coverages in the first half, just someone missed an assignment, which kind of happens. You're getting players back who have missed some time. The offense got rolling in the second half. Jimmy looked a lot better. First half, he definitely struggled, but, they got things going. I have them at 8. If they would have won a little bit more, they probably would have entered my top 5, but, we'll see. This is where the 49ers are going to get rolling, so they'll probably be moving up. I have them at 8.
At 8, I got the Giants moving up one spot. They played the Texans. No, I mean, I didn't want to move them up too much, but, the Giants are what, 7-2?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Giants, bro. And Saquon Barkley's healthy. That's all you got to say about that team. And the defense is solid. So, and Daniel Jones isn't turning over the ball. Like, there's just everything that they could have improved from last year, they did. And, I think that's all due to coaching. They had talent on that team. I don't think they were coached well. Like, I think they've had some of the worst coaching in the last, 2 or 3 years since, what's his name? Tom Coughlin left. But I think they're a good team now. So I like them.
All right.
At 7, and this one, I didn't want to move this team down, but I had to move a couple teams down just because of buys and because of how dominant certain teams look. But at 7, I got the Ravens moving down a spot. They're still a good team. It was just unfortunate, bye weeks. So they're still a good team.
All right. At 7, this is where I have the New York Giants. I have them moving up one spot. Didn't beat a very good team, but they won. They beat Houston. Saquon still looks good. Defense looks good. Not much else to say. They're 7-2. At 6, this is where I have Baltimore. I just have them staying put. This is one of the teams that I didn't move who had to buy. I moved a couple of the teams that did. But, yeah, I have Baltimore at 6.
At 6, this is the first time that this has ever happened for my power rankings. But this is the first time that I've ever done this for my power rankings, having a team that won move back a spot. I have the 49ers moving down a spot to 6. And this is solely based on the fact that another team just played way better than them. I still believe in the 49ers. I still think they have a good team. I still think they're experienced. Like you said, I would just love to see, when are we going to get that 44-point game for the 49ers? When are we going to get that offensive explosion, that offensive genius-minded coach called game? The defense has played good every game except for the Chiefs game. I just want the offense to be dominant. You have some of the best weapons in the NFL. You have Christian McCaffrey, arguably a top 5 running back. You have Deebo Samuel, top 10. I'll say top 10 wide receiver, or at least dynamic wide receiver. Brandon Ayuk is emerging, bro. This is his 4th game in a row with 80+ receiving yards. He is emerging, and his route running is disgusting. George Kittle, top 3 tight end. And they have a really good offensive line. Trent Williams, he's the best tackle in the game. And here's a really fun stat for you guys.
Is it the
Our
Jimmy G
guards?
stat? Oh, never mind.
Well, our guards, who one is a second-year running back or second-year guard, our left guard, Aaron Banks, and our right guard, Spencer Burford. He's a rookie, but first year starting for both of them, obviously. They haven't gave up a single sack this entire year, along with the center. So that's something. I think that's why Jimmy G has been. This has been statistically his best year, which is like it's hard to say that. It's weird to say that because at times you just like look at Jimmy G and you're just like, okay, like what I'm saying. But like statistically, this is his best year, so I'm here for it. But like I said, I just want a dominant win. I want a dominant win before I can put them in like my top 3 or my top 5 again. But I still think they're a good team. And
Yeah, absolutely.
am I going
number
to
5?
All right, 5. I got the Bills dropping 2 spots.
I have the Bills dropping 2 spots at 5 as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is like I almost wanted to put the 49ers ahead of them, but I mean, their quarterbacks. I can't put the 49ers above the Bills at the moment. Like, the Bills have one of the best quarterbacks. They have a nasty wide receiver room, good coaching, good defense. I think they just are on a losing streak, and they did it last year. I think they've done this for like the last several years, where they look bad at times, and everyone goes, "What's wrong with the Bills?" But I think they'll be fine. I still think they're my Super Bowl favorites for the AFC. And I'm really just saying that, I think, because I don't want the Chiefs to go back. But yeah, I mean, I still really like the Bills. But I mean, what do you think, man?
Yeah, I think the Bills, teams lose. Really good teams lose every once in a while. It happens. I'm not thinking too much of it. If they lose a 3rd game in a row, then I probably will start kind of questioning it. I don't know if it's maybe teams are figuring out the Bills or if it's just like player consistency or something at that point. But as of right now, 2 losses, it's tough. I still think they're a top-tier team. I know they're a top-tier team because they have talent everywhere. They're well coached. I think they're going to put it together. But if they lose a 3rd game, then I might start looking at it a little bit differently. But yeah, Buffalo at 5. At 4, I have Philadelphia. I have them moving down 3 spots. They are only a 1-loss team, but I don't know. Their resume hasn't really given me hope that they can take it deep in the playoffs. I think they're a really good team. They went 8-0, but the teams that they beat were all kind of under 500 teams for the most part. So it is kind of questionable to have faith in them. It's only 1 loss. If they could get it going again, I think they will get it going again. And I still think they're a good team. But I have them dropping 3 spots because it was a pretty ugly loss to the Washington Commanders.
Also, there's a fun little thing I saw on comparison on Instagram, and it was the Pittsburgh Steelers started 8-0 a couple years ago, and then look what they did in the playoffs.
The Cardinals went 8-0 last year.
And look what they did. Just because you're 8-0 doesn't mean you're the best team. It just means you're better than your competition. And remember, we talked about this in the offseason. The Eagles had the 4th easiest schedule in the NFL, and they're a good team. Let's not get it twisted. They're still a good team, but they have a very, very easy schedule. And so that's why, if the Bills were to be 8-0, I'd be like, okay, they're legit, because look at their division. All 4 of those teams are in playoff. All 4 of those teams are sitting right now in the playoffs. All 4, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So,
the East of both divisions is technically looking at that way.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate for the Eagles, but, I still have them ranked a little bit higher than you. But at 4, I have moving up 4 spots. I have the Dolphins, and this is, yeah, man, they look really, really good. They have the run game with Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson. Jeff Wilson just balled out, I think, and I think that's the best thing for Raheem Mostert because, Raheem Mostert, injury prone, and if they can rest him for playoffs, watch the F out. And Jeff Wilson, and Jeff Wilson's not a chump either. Like, I love Jeff Wilson when he's on the 49ers, and I'm glad he went to a place where he's getting an opportunity to, excel. And then, let's not forget about the deliciousness on the wide receiver core, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. And Tua's playing really good. That team plays a lot better with Tua, obviously. So, yeah, I like the Dolphins a lot.
I do too. Who do you got at 3, Jake?
At 3, I have the Eagles dropping 2 spots. Just, one loss isn't gonna, make me drop them 5,
Right.
5 spots. So they're still a good team. They still have the best record in the NFL. So I just
The best record.
who else is 8-1?
Minnesota.
Are they?
Yeah, 8-1.
Oh shit! All right, well they're tied with the best record, but I still think they're a good team. Like I said, I still think they're a good team. I think they just need to step up in certain things, like playing better in the second half, and I think they'll be fine. I don't know; it'll be interesting come playoff time, but yeah, I got the Eagles at 3.
Yeah, at 3, this is where I have the Dolphins. I have them moving up 7 spots. They're complete, man. Like, if their defense plays even just a little bit better, they will be super scary. This offense is dangerous. I mean, you have elite wide receivers, you have good running backs, you have Tua who's playing way better than he's played throughout his entire NFL career. So yeah, I have Miami at 3. At 2, this is where I have Minnesota. I have Minnesota moving up 2 spots.
So do I.
They're 8-1, and they just beat the Bills, which is crazy. It could have gone the Bills' way. It probably should have gone the Bills' way. But, a win's a win. Anything happens in the NFL, and they were competitive regardless. Even if they didn't get that give me fumble in the end zone for a touchdown, they were still right there, down like 3 points. So I like Minnesota. I like what they're doing. I just wish that they could win a game by more than 3 points. But, a win's a win in the NFL. They're the Chargers of the NFC when it comes to the points that they do win by. I have them at 2.
Yeah, I have the Vikings at number 2 as well.
So that means we both have Kansas City 1.
Yeah. So the Vikings. They've been winning these games by the hairs of their chins. But sometimes you'd rather be lucky than good if you're winning. But they are a good team. That's the thing. Kirk Cousins has been playing, really good for him. We'll see. Hopefully he can get another primetime game and, prove the haters wrong. We will see. But they have weapons everywhere. And that defense is stepping the F up. But now that leads us to our number 1 ranked team. Unfortunately, we got the Kansas City Chiefs.
It's just the typical Chiefs, man.
Yeah.
Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, that offense. It doesn't matter if Tyreek Hill's there. They have offensive pieces everywhere. Travis Kelce, the defense makes plays when they need to. It's just a complete team, man. Like, the Chiefs are just the next dynasty. They're the next Patriots dynasty. And they haven't won as many Super Bowls, but they have literally been in the NFC or the AFC Championship game, I think, the last 4 years in a row. That's hard to do. That is hard to do. The Chargers haven't even been to the AFC Championship game since 2007.
Yeah.
So it just shows I don't know.
I'm going to apologize for Dane calling the Chiefs a dynasty. You can't be a dynasty until you win 3 Super Bowls. But no, they are really good, and they have made it to quad AFC championships. I think they just they don't give a F about running the ball, and they can just pass all day if they want. And then they got Kadarius Toney. He had a really good game last week. If he can emerge and become that Tyreek Hill player, watch out, because there's already comparisons to Tyreek Hill for him, which is a scary thought. I just think they got better. And you know what? They have balls because, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he was a high draft pick for them. And
he was a former first-round pick.
Yeah, and he hasn't been cutting it on the ground. And boom, Isaiah Pacheco goes in. So, good. That's good coaching. So, the Chiefs, back at number one. It's a new number one for me. I think it's a new number one for you.
Yep.
So, yeah.
I either have Philadelphia or Buffalo. But, yep. Guys, that's going to do it for our power rankings. Thank you so much for tuning in, listening. If you made it all the way here, we really appreciate you. Like, comment, subscribe. We greatly appreciate it. If you guys aren't already, give us a follow on our Instagram, Cannonballs with a Z _podcast. Jake, do you have anything to say before we get out of here?
Nope. I'm ready for this to be over. I'm tired. I'm hungry. Thank you for listening. And as always, peace.